Hi, and welcome to the Mirrix Tapestry and Bead Looms Weekly Friday video. I'm Elena Zuyuk, Marketing Director.
I'm Claudia Chase, President of Mirrix Looms. I keep saying President of Mirrix Looms because I don't want you to think I'm President of something else, like the country, which I'm not.
Did you know?
I'm not. No, I never got that far in politics. Okay.
Well,
what are we talking about today?
Today, we're going to be talking about the transition, somebody who uses seed beads and is a beader but hasn't used a loom. Talk about, what that transition means to start bead weaving on a Mirrix loom and
why.
To make that.
And, okay. Yeah. Why weave on a loom when you could just do off loom stuff? First of all, I have to tell you, I do know how to do off loom stuff. I didn't in the beginning, but I decided I need to learn all the stitches so that I could compare them intelligently to weaving on the loom. And I sort of can do that. I have done peyote quite a bit. I've done herringbone. And I know how to do brick stitch. I know how to do square stitch. I'm not a fan of either one of those. But those are the four stitches, peyote, herringbone, brick stitch, and square stitch, that I would translate into loom weaving, because those stitches allow you to do larger pieces, for example, like a little peyote purse, or those are solid. They fill in all the areas, unlike right angle weave, which leaves a hole. So I'm going to compare those. Maybe we can even compare right angle weave. What happens with the loom is that it's exponentially faster to use the loom, so that the wider your piece, the less time it takes to weave on the loom. So if you want to do larger pieces, it's a lot faster. I think it's easier to see it. It's vertical. It's for pictorial stuff, I wouldn't do anything else. Now, why is it faster? Well, let's say peyote. You pick up a bead, you sew it through. You pick up a bead, you sew it through. You pick up a bead, you sew it through. With bead weaving, you pick up all your beads and you weave it. And the weaving part really doesn't take long at all. It takes moments. The wider your piece, the longer it takes. So that you can see where the wider the piece, the less time it takes to weave on a loom compared to off loom work. So I think it's sort of a must-have if you're doing larger pieces. It's also wonderful for doing necklaces, but it's not necessarily faster when you're doing a necklace, unless you're doing like a split loom piece with a wide piece on the bottom. So, I mean, that's the answer. I just love weaving on looms. I think they're great.
And it's an easy transition when you understand how beads work together and you understand one kind of working with beads. It's not such a hard transition to start looming.
Yeah, I just thought of another great thing about weaving on loom. Because the loom controls the tension, you don't have to worry about it. It's the easiest method of working with seed beads. Peyote, all the other ones, you really have to be careful with the tension. You get better at it as you do it. But on a loom, it's going to always come out exactly the same, which is good.
Especially on a Mirrix loom, we have really great tension.
Especially on a Mirrix loom. Well, of course. That's what we're doing here, right? Okay.
And, talking about speed, too. If you're making a really wide beaded piece, using the shedding device is going to make things even faster than a traditional bead weaving.
And your final product, I think, is going to be nicer. And let me talk about that. Stronger, because when you're not using the shedding device, you have one warp between each bead and essentially two wefts. You string up your beads, put them behind the warp, and then you sew through them. So you have double the number of threads in that direction. Well, the strength of your piece is based on the warps, the vertical stuff. And when you're using the shedding device, you have twice as many warps. So essentially, you're going to have a stronger piece of fabric. If you're interested in strong fabric, I guess that's a good thing.
It is.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Great.
Thanks. We hope you try it.